Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and this one we are testing the GeForce RTX 4070 Ti Super in The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. And we have the Zotac HOLO model of the card, and here are all the specs. As you can see, we have the latest NVIDIA driver 572.83. Resizable bar is also enabled inside BIOS. And over here in Task Manager, we have the Intel Core i7-13700K CPU. For memory, you got 64 gigs of DDR5, 6000 megatransfers per second, CL36. Finally, for MSI Afterburner, no overclocks are applied. Everything is set to their default stock settings. So let's get inside the game and check out the frame rates. So here we go, guys. We're going to start this off with 4K resolution at first. We're going to use exclusive full screen mode. And for upscalers, the game has DLSS, FSR 3.1, and XeSS. And also, I have manually overridden the DLSS version from the NVIDIA app, which is by going down here, you can basically override and make it to the latest, which will set it to the super resolution being the latest. And we have for anti-aliasing, we have SMA, TAA, DLAA, and DLAA looks pretty good. Don't use TAA, it's very blurry. I'm not even going to try it. And we'll still try and see how much FPS we gain from using TAA. We'll check that. And reflex, as you can see, is turned on. And frame generation is also there for FSR and DLSS. And over here in the graphics settings, we're going to max out everything. And chromatic aberration and fill grain, you can pretty much set them to 0 to turn them off. So let's get inside the game. Here we go, guys. In this jungle area.
Came after you guys once. Maybe these
And as you can see, we're getting below 60 FPS, and it's quite demanding in this area, as there's a lot of trees and vegetation, plants and everything. And if I zoom in, as you can see, that looks quite good. The textures and everything. This is, keep in mind, this is native, obviously, and you will get above 60 FPS sometimes. So the average will probably hover around that 60 FPS mark. But if you like OC the card a bit more, you can probably get 60 average all the time. And as you can see, it looks pretty good. The greenery in this game, like, obviously in some areas it becomes a bit whitish. I don't know why. I haven't played this game on PS5 before, so I can't really tell either on PS4.
Yeah, we're getting close.
So this is my first time experiencing this game on PC. And the game is slightly intensive on the CPU side though, but it's not that intensive. It works fine. And as you can see, 58 average over here, and moving my mouse also feels pretty smooth. Frame time is pretty smooth as well.
Turns out you do know where you're going.
Not too many spikes. You will see all the occasional loading stutters here and there. And I really doubted that since Iron Galaxy was working on this port, it was gonna be the same experience as Part 1, which released on PC back in the day. But I think at the last moment, Nixes came in and they improved it overall. And I mean, from a 4070 Ti Super, we're getting sub 60, like 55-ish FPS most of the time. It's not that bad in native 4K. It's not a targeted 4K card anyway. It's mainly for 1440p. And we will see that soon as well. And look at the VRAM consumption there, usage, 9.4 gigs. If I zoom into the characters there, the facial details are pretty good nonetheless. We get off the horse a bit, look at the textures better. Ground textures, all that mud. And the grass is also looking pretty good. Not too much aliasing I can notice. Maybe at the distance it becomes a little bit alias, but that's pretty negligible. I mean, it's little to none. What's she staring at like that? Over there. And down at the waterfall area, guys, looking flawless. Oh, I thought I was gonna die. Water is not so demanding in this game. And looks great at the same time. And I have noticed, look at that. When I move my camera, it becomes, the shadows disappear, and I look at that, it becomes dark again. Don't know what's going on there. Yeah, when I move close, becomes brown, and when I go far, it becomes dark. I mean, it should be brown, not dark. I don't know what's going on there. And something I have noticed that some of the textures in some objects, not every,
Think about how well we hide
they
our
look
lookouts.
kind of old, like from PS4 graphics, obviously. Those haven't been upgraded, like many boxes and cartons. You will see they look pretty pixelated. But it's a quite good experience. As you can see, average is going up there, 63. And it runs quite well in native 4K as well. Let me play a bit more. And let me know, guys, how much you are getting with your system. What GPUs do you have? What CPUs you got? Would love to know them in the comments below. So I'm gonna load in another save which I have. Here we go. The downtown area is a bit more open here. And obviously the game has like no issues like part 1 did. I've seen many people asking that is it better, does it perform better than part 1? Obviously it does. Like 10 times better than part 1 at launch day. Like part 1 you could barely like play for 15 minutes and it would crash, and the shader caching or the shader compilation would take like 40 minutes, 50 minutes, and sometime even for more than an hour on older CPUs. This one, it's pretty flawless. No artifacting, no glitches, no visual glitches whatsoever. That's pretty good. And I am manually using the transformer model of DLSS, as I said earlier as well.
No way.
It still holds above 60 FPS, as you can see most of the time. Sometimes it drops here and there below 60, but if you use quality DLSS or maybe even frame generation on top of this, you can get over that. I'm going to quickly change the settings. That is not the settings, I'll just use quality DLSS. Let's change that to quality and apply that. Now we're getting 90 plus. Okay, when I start moving, it kind of dropped there. It's gonna be 90 plus all the time, even 100s we are getting right now. Pretty good experience overall, guys. And there was a stutter there. And yeah, by default the game looks pretty sharp, and I'm using 3 sharpness on the slider. By default the game starts with 5, and already 3 looks very sharp. I mean 5 looks way too over sharpened in my opinion. So you can manually change that, but it's running pretty flawless as you can see at 4K. Frame time is buttery smooth. I love to see that. Just like with Assassin's Creed Shadows, I had that frame time was like smooth as butter. So is this one, and this one gets you good FPS as well. And obviously it doesn't look any close to like the part 1 did. Obviously that was a remake, and this is just a remaster, but it's still pretty good of what it is actually. 101 FPS, 90 average. What else do you need at 4K? And do we need a DLSS Frame Gen on top of this? I don't think so. For a game like this, like 80, 90 FPS is far more than you would need. You might try this with DLAA and Frame Generation, see what that does. Let's turn off the upscaling and enable Frame Generation. DLSS Frame Gen. We got a good jump there. I mean, it's the same as we are getting with quality DLSS. Let me enable the latency. Still showing 0. There we go. 65 milliseconds. I mean, it is there. There is some latency I can notice with the mouse I'm playing. I mean, if you play with a controller, you won't be able to notice this. With a mouse, it's a bit noticeable. There is some latency. Obviously, you can see that on screen with the NVIDIA overlay. I can't see any artifacting whatsoever. Maybe there's a little bit around her hair when I move around, but it's pretty negligible. Since the base FPS was around 60, most of the time it was above 60, so latency won't be an issue with this. And now we're gonna test this with performance DLSS, as many of you asked me to try that as well. So for upscaling, we're gonna enable DLSS, change this to, let's try performance, and we'll try balanced after this. Even with performance DLSS, it's pretty amazing. Getting 110 now. In the DLSS upscaler, the transformer model does an excellent job in every game I have seen. Even in performance DLSS, it looks crisp and clear. Like it's gonna be so difficult to even tell if I give you a blind test. Like, is this native 4K? Like, without obviously looking at all the FPS counter and all that stuff, and without touching the mouse or moving anything, you will have a hard time. Like, which is native and which is DLSS performance. And I am not gonna progress or anything in this video. I'm just gonna stay around this area and test different settings. That's what I'm gonna do. So, yeah, the water, there is a bit noise on that with performance DLSS. Just notice there while moving. A bit more on the grass as well. But when you're not moving, it's basically like native resolution. Let's switch this to balanced DLSS and see what we can get. Getting 90 plus. I mean, it was fine with quality DLSS only. Why would you use balanced or performance, right? Makes no sense to me. But just for the testing, I'm including it. We can still hit 800 plus sometimes with balanced also. But stick with DLSS quality for 60 plus FPS all the time. You will be satisfied with that. Or you can use frame generation on top of DLAA. But I would prefer the quality DLSS over frame gen because of that slight input latency which I can feel with the mouse. So I'll just stick to that. Difference between DLAA and TAA. We're getting 70, 71 FPS in this scene currently. Wow, we gain like 10 FPS almost. 9, 10 FPS. That's a big jump. But I can literally tell that it looks very blurry now already. TAA. It nowhere looks close to DLAA was. When I move my mouse, it's the grasses and everything, they become so blurry. Just stick with DLAA, guys. Don't use TAA. Stick to DLAA and use DLSS quality on top of that. That will be my recommendation for these. Now we are back at it again, guys. This time with 1440p resolution using DLAA. Upscaling and frame gen is turned off. And for graphics, one thing I forgot to tell you. Right now, everything is maxed out. But there are actually more settings underneath this. You see these little arrows? You click that. There's more settings you can tweak if you want. So I forgot to tell you that in 4K. But everything is maxed out right now, as you can see. And easily we can get a past 100 FPS right now. More than 110 most of the time. Or if not all the time. Drop there for a second. 199. But yeah, you know what I mean. It's pretty smooth experience overall.
Should we check for supplies?
It's a very smooth experience. Let's go and have a look in this area. I mean, just running on horse is kind of boring. Let's see if we can find some... Oh, got a cat there. Come here, little one. Unpet it. Anyway, and we don't have any of those monsters around here which we can kill, unfortunately. And you can easily experience 120 FPS most of the time if you use quality DLSS on top of this, guys. I mean, the CPU is getting a bit more hit harder at lower resolution, and the clock speed is dropping there. I don't know why. Probably thermal throttling something, who knows. But I mean, I don't need to test it any further. You can literally see what's going on. 1% lose, 0.1%. Pretty good overall. We can even use frame generation on top of this. Top of DLAA should help us get a very good FPS overall. As you can see, 170, 160, and for the input lag, there is absolutely no input lag. I can feel with the mouse. It is obviously there, but it's not what you can feel. With mouse, you cannot feel. So you can turn on FG if you are going to play at 1440p resolution maxed out. You don't need to use DLSS quality. And with mouse also, I cannot feel any latency whatsoever. And talking about artifacts, there's absolutely nil I can notice. Even getting a 180. What if I look at the sky? 230. There we go. I mean, do we need to try 1080p resolution in this? Probably not. But I'll still try it maxed out 1080p, because why not? Okay, let's also try this with quality DLSS. I'm going to turn off frame generation. There we go. With quality DLSS also, with DLSS 4, it looks close to native almost. 1440p. And we're getting 100 plus still. I mean, you didn't need to use upscaling at first place. We're getting 100 FPS, 99 almost all the time over here in this area. So why would you use upscaling? Maybe for the high refresh rate, you can do that, but you're not gonna get 200 to 240 with upscaling. You might get that on 50 series GPU, you know, with multi-frame generation. You can get that, but not with this one. And lastly, guys, we're gonna try 1080p resolution as well, because why not? Using DLAA, maxed out graphics settings pretty much. We're getting 136 over here. GPU usage is still maxed out, not dropping, still not bottlenecked by the CPU, but it will if you use like DLSS quality. But why would you use that at first place? And even at 1080p, I like this game. It looks pretty good, sharp, not blurry like many other games do nowadays. And it's going to be a pretty good experience for low-end GPUs as well for this resolution. The 1% low, 0.1, still pretty good even at 1080p. And VRAM is slightly above like 8 gigs being allocated, but it's just the allocated VRAM. Usage is at 7.2, so I guess 8 gigs GPU should be fine. We're gonna test those later on, we'll find out. So that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Do leave a like if you enjoyed and if this video helped you. And make sure to subscribe if you're new. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one. Till then, take care and bye-bye.